Welcome to this week's episode of Leading with Confidence. My name is Confidence Sileme and I'm your host. This program is proudly powered by the William Sileme Foundation, and the foundation's mission is enabling education in Africa. This week, I'd like us to discuss a topic I've titled Boundaries for Unearthing Your True Value. There are certain boundaries we must be mindful of and respect if we are to be successful in unearthing our true value in this world. When we think of boundaries, we often think in terms of restrictions, but that isn't the case at all. These boundaries are not for restrictions, but rather they are protective measures and principles we should employ for success. Number one is ethical boundaries. There's a popular quote which says, "Talent will open the door, but character will allow you to stay in the room," close quote. There are many business leaders, sports heroes, political figures and so forth who had the talent to get to the top, but because they lacked character and they didn't set up ethical and moral boundaries to protect themselves, they fell from grace and they met with failure. In your own life, ask yourself whether you've set up ethical and moral boundaries or whether you are just doing as you please with no adherence to sound ethical and moral principles. Even when you build a house, you erect a fence or build a wall around the house for some protection. You may even install a security system or hire a security company to patrol or stand guard because you want to protect the people within the house and the valuable things within it. Have you erected a fence of strong moral principles? Have you built a tall wall of sound ethics? Have you put a guard and monitor on your behavior and actions to ensure that you do not cross the boundaries? When there are no boundaries in place, there is vulnerability. Look at a map of the world and you'll see that each nation is demarcated by boundary lines. Those lines are not just there as a sign marking the territory belonging to that particular country. Those lines are also boundaries signaling that the area is under guard or under protection by that nation. Lack of moral boundaries leads to moral decay. When you see decay in the moral fiber of an organization, a community or a country, you must know that it is because there were no moral boundaries set up, or perhaps the boundaries that were set up were crossed. When you cross moral boundaries, you cross into decay and decadence. Next is boundaries of association. Who you choose to spend time with has an impact on the type of person you eventually become. Your associations matter, and if you want to fulfill your life's purpose, you must inventory your associations and create certain boundaries. This is of extreme importance because those you associate with speak into your life and they influence your thinking and your demeanor. If you allow just anyone to speak into your life, you may get infected with poisonous ideas and ideals. Even people of great character can lose their way simply because they are hanging around with the wrong crowd. Being selective and creating boundaries of association also means being selective about what materials you consume. What books are you reading? What TV shows are you watching? What content are you listening to? You have to set the tone for the kind of information you want to consume because that impacts the type of philosophy that you eventually create or have. Choose to associate with the greats and you will spark your own greatness. Your associations need not necessarily be the people you encounter or choose to interact with in the physical form. I choose to associate with great men such as Les Brown, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Zig Ziglar, Dr. Miles Monroe, and many others through their messages and books. I've opened myself up and allowed them to speak into my life. Creating boundaries of associations is a protective measure that may not be easy to undertake. Sometimes it may mean disassociating with people you've known for many years. This may be friends you used to go clubbing and partying with, and because now you've refocused your priorities, those people no longer fit the direction that you want to take. This isn't about throwing people away. No, that's not it. It's simply about disassociating with people who could potentially cause you to throw your future away. You probably know the axiom that says, if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll become the 10th one. Close quote. If you wish to be wise, associate with and learn from the wise. If you wish to become wealthy, associate with and learn from the wealthy. If you wish to become a great leader, follow great leaders and garner from them their principles and ideas. Wood can never sharpen iron, and if you hang around with wood long enough, you may end up becoming like it, even though you are iron. Level up your associations and you will reach new levels. Well, we've come to the end of this week's episode of Leading with Confidence. Cheers.